What's good, family? So look, we gonna get straight to it in this video. Understand, I've said in the past, I told y'all, I said, look, the government done told us that UFOs are real and they've been seeing them. Everybody done heard about Area 51 and how there's some alien things going on in Area 51. We've been hearing that forever. Now, the skeptics will tell you that's just a conspiracy theory. There are whistleblowers from the government all over the internet. And if you fact check them, if you background check them, these people really did work for places like Area 51. These people really did work for the Air Force. And they tell you their accounts of seeing not only extraterrestrials, they tell you their accounts of seeing actual UFOs. I've seen UFOs multiple times. I know they're real. And look, we know there's an agenda behind this, why they decide to share this now. But they've made it public. UFOs are a real thing. There are objects that be flying in the sky, clearly vehicles that do things that no one can explain, at least publicly, or at least like some people really know what's going on for real. When I say some people, I'm talking about the same people that's pulling the strings. So we're gonna react to this video. This video is from 2 weeks ago, right? It's on the news. Unknown object crash near Area 51 fuels cover-up claims. Now, family, we don't want to look at, I haven't seen this video, but we don't want to watch this video. We want to be very aware. You know, we want to watch this video with our third eye. But let's see. It's a news channel, Eyewitness News, I believe this is. Let's see what they say about it.
The 8 News Now investigators telling you for several weeks now about a mysterious object of unknown origin that fell from the sky and crashed just near Area 51. And tonight, the public is still in the dark.
So that crash was quickly covered up, both literally and figuratively. 8 News Now Chief Investigator George Knapp thinks the official story, as told by the military, is false.
And we are lucky because George joins us here in the studio with more on what he's now dug up. George.
Well, how quickly might the government respond to a crash of an unknown object? What happened back on September 23rd on public land outside the boundary of Area 51 is a textbook example of how crash retrievals work. And to no one's surprise, pretty much everything told to the public since then is pure fiction.
You can see this in F-18.
Scanners and computers inside.
They just be saying whatever, family. Listen, we know there's some alien business going on at Area 51. It's just that there's, believe it or not, majority of people don't actually come to terms with that, don't actually believe that. And that's what they're avoiding. You know, I got my guard up, like the fact that the news is saying that that it's being covered up. Like what's going on, what's really going on here? Because we understand that the same people that been hiding the fact from you that aliens are real, extraterrestrials are real for so long are the same people who push the agenda on the news and control what's put out there. So there could be some type of deception going on here, but
This room listen to and record radio traffic inside Area 51 round the clock. On the morning of September 23rd, York Arnew heard some astonishing news.
Had my cup of coffee and I'm listening to Area 51 security, and all of a sudden they get very serious. Locked down the base.
Arnew learned there had been a large but totally secret air operation in the middle of the night and that something had gone wrong.
So we just had an asset go down. We had an asset go down. This is not Creech security, this is Area 51 security. And they had an asset go down. And then the next thing.
That's clear. Also, short VOI is a UAV unmanned aircraft with orbit.
He picked up details about strict security measures which were implemented almost immediately. Not only was Area 51 itself locked down, but within a very short time, so too was a large swath of the Tikaboo Valley. It became clear that some kind of craft had crashed miles outside of Area 51's boundaries on public land adjacent to Highway 375, also known as the ET Highway.
wow, the ET Highway, why do they call it that? I mean, context would tell you, I would guess that people probably be seeing UFOs by that highway. It's near Area 51. A strong theory that I heard was that, which is I actually believe, is that these bases, these highly security these bases with high security that are known to hold alien objects and alien activity going on, is where a lot of portals are on the earth, and we're naturally aliens. That's why it's so highly secret and it's so highly top secret and secured in these areas, because people be like, why are these areas always like near the desert and stuff like that? It's because they could try to hide it from you, but they can't control where it's coming from. But they know where it's coming from, so they'll have those areas closed off. Like that area, Area 51, as you can see here, they call it ET Highway or whatever. It's somewhere where extraterrestrials could travel through to come to our plane, our dimension.
Who jumped in his truck and headed south from his home in Rachel. But while driving on what's known as Mailbox Road, he ran into an armed patrol.
They had the gun in front of them, not pointed at me, but very visibly in front of them. And it was clear they meant business.
He backtracked and headed south on the ET Highway to Groom Lake Road, the main entrance to the base. It too was blocked off by sheriff's deputies and military security. A military helicopter with an attached basket was sitting there, presumably ready to haul out wreckage of something. A pair of porta potties suggested the team planned to be there for a while.
Almost the entire Tikaboo Valley was shut down.
At the Little Ailey Inn in Rachel, employees were in the dark about a crash, but saw the beefed-up security at closed-off roads and knew something big was unfolding. Crashes are not an everyday occurrence out here, but locals have seen plenty of them over the decades.
If this thing would have crashed anyway in restricted airspace, in restricted area, we would have never known about it.
After being turned away from the presumed crash site, Arnu and the aerospace sleuths on his website, dreamlandresort.com, began gathering and sharing bits and pieces of information. The FAA had ordered the closure of airspace over a particular spot in the valley. That was a big clue. Then 4 days after the crash, the security teams vanished. Arnu went back out for a look. The Air Force had used heavy equipment to plow a dirt road across a section of desert. Arnu followed it and found what he thought was the crash site, then shared it online. That's when things...
Family, do y'all think it's possible? Because I'm very surprised that they actually have a team on the news that's telling you the government is covering this up. Do y'all think there's an agenda behind this and the government is behind even the investigation team? Or is it possible that, how do I say this? Because this isn't something I've talked about a lot in this channel, so I don't know who's aware of this, who's watching this. But is it possible that the same, you know how there's dark forces that pull the strings, right? There's also light forces and positive forces that want to help us. You could say that might be extraterrestrials or just entities on a higher plane that might be influencing some things. Maybe the beings that want the collective to wake up. Because I've said in the past how the History Channel, there may be some positive forces that may be influencing, because the History Channel be releasing some real history that you know for a fact they don't be wanting you to know for real, like the elite, let's just say that. So could it be the same situation here where there's some positive forces that may be influencing or having some type of control here on this newscast? Because, you know, extraterrestrials are real, bro. Like, I'm just going to say it straight out, period. It's just that as a collective, as a majority, you can't just snatch humans' reality away from them. You got to slowly, that's how we are with everything. You got to slowly, gradually introduce us to something that is so grand and mass. So could that be it? Could this just be a seed planting tactic to help people realize what's really going on, or is there a hidden agenda behind it? It's one or the other.
Strange, even by Area 51 standards. A second wave of cleanup crews descended on the site, presumably to pick up any remaining debris, but they also used graders to cover the entire area with a thick layer of dirt, literally a cover-up. Creech Air Force Base, which is home to a fleet of Reaper drones and other UAVs, issued a statement explaining that the, quote, unmanned aircraft was one of theirs. The same statement claimed someone had been tampering with the crash site and had scattered assorted pieces from other aircraft, along with an inert training bomb. The Air Force said the FBI was investigating this alleged tampering at the site. Arnu was amused but not convinced.
The only thing they could get that person for is littering on public land.
That's the story, is it came from Creech and now the FBI is investigating. You think that's bogus?
That's absolutely bogus. I think that was designed to make people not go there.
Arnu drove back out and realized the site he first videotaped was a staging area, not the crash site. 200 yards away, the telltale burn marks on Joshua trees indicated this was where the object slammed into the earth. Both he and another aerospace explorer found pieces of who knows what, debris that came from something other than a drone, seemingly planted to confuse anyone who came looking. But they also found pieces under the dirt that are likely the real thing.
I'm pretty sure that this piece came off the actual aircraft.
Arnu, who was at the site of a genuine Reaper crash years earlier, says there's no way the Air Force could ever recover every piece of a crashed aircraft, so they added some dirt and sprinkled in some misdirection instead.
If I were them, I would probably do just that.
Is there a good guess about what crashed? On the Dreamland Resort website, members, including former military and retired defense contractors, chimed in. The leading theory is that the drone was one of a latest generation of AI-controlled craft that accompany advanced fighter planes and can act independently to get the job done.
The Next Generation Air Dominance project is the big thing at Area 51. So the pilot flies along and says, hey, there's a target on the ground, Drone 1, go check it out, and if it's a bad guy, take care of it. And Drone 1 goes and does the rest.
If the military wants to keep a secret about strange things that fall out of the sky, they have many tools at their disposal. Lock down the base, seal off the public land, put out a cover story, sprinkle some...
I think they threw that out there real quick, like, oh, the AI thing, to throw you off a little bit right there. I don't know for sure, but we're going off the intuition here. And I feel this is almost like a tactic to where it's like, all right, there's people that widely suspect that there's some extraterrestrial activity going on over here. Let's hide in plain sight and have some people who are like conspiracy theorists, right? You would say these investigators here. And let's throw these out, these little subliminals to make you think like, okay, why would they be hiding something? Why would the elites, you say the elites control the news, but the news has their own investigators that's trying to expose it. But then you already got these officials that just said it's AI. So really it's AI. You guys are just making things up. That's what they're trying to get people to think. That's what I see based on what I just watched. But yeah, family, that's a little interesting video right there. This is listen, that's why I said, guys, you gotta watch these videos with your third eye, family. For real, for real. You feel me? That's how you truly see clearly. Hold on. We have to read the comments before I end this video. The FBI is investigating. You see? I know I'm not the only one. This got 2,000 likes too. This is literally the government investigating itself and then clearing itself of any wrongdoing. I love my people. Hold on. I love my people. So, for the people who are maybe watching on TikTok, let me just make this clear for TikTok. So we just watched a news video with investigators. So obviously, right, there was this crash near Area 51 and the government tried to cover it up. Now a lot of people were saying, oh, the government's trying to cover this up. It obviously wasn't what they said. So to try to cover themselves, because remember, the government is controlling the news. To cover themselves, they had these investigators say that the government was actually trying to cover up some AI project going on. And we went over this. I just told y'all after watching it what I really think this is. They tried to throw that little curveball at the end. Oh, the AI. It was an AI project going on in the government. This is the government. The government is trying to tell me that the government was trying to cover up something, and this is really was. Now look at this first comment. I love it. I gotta like this comment. The FBI is investigating. That's literally the government investigating itself to clear up its own wrongdoing. All part of the plan. They want this leaked. If they didn't want it leaked, they'd silence it. Yeah, it's too, like, bro, we know what's going on. We know what's going on. People, listen to me. We're looking in the wrong place for aliens. Look straight at your cat's face and fold its ears back. Oh, I ain't gonna talk about that. The first comment was spot on. That's all I'm gonna say, family. The FBI is investigating. That's literally the government investigating itself and then clearing itself of any wrongdoing. Period.